Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today's format is going to be a bit different, but I wanted to start a new series on my channel that helps people who are just starting to collect manga. In the past couple months, I've gotten a bunch of questions in my comments and through my Instagram DMs, questions that I myself had when I first started collecting. So I really wanted to help you guys out and decided to compile the top 10 things I wish I knew before I started collecting manga to give you some tips and guidance for you guys. And just a quick disclosure, this is all my personal opinion and experience, so it is completely alright and also justified if you disagree or find something that works better for you. This is really just to guide those who are just getting started collecting and want a bit of a direction. So to be honest, looking back at this list, a lot of these things are pretty self-explanatory, but I still hope that at least one of you finds this helpful. I'll be including timestamps for each tip, so feel free to skip around and explore. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I wish I knew was how important it is to set a goal for your collection. This is definitely not meant to scare you, but it is a good idea to set a goal or a simple direction for your collection. So this is just for you to have an idea behind why you want to start collecting and how you're going to actually do it. If you start without a goal in mind, it definitely might end terribly for both your wallet and your state of mind. So for some people, their goal may be to collect as many series as they can. On the other hand, I have friends who only want to collect shoujo, some who only want to collect horror, while others are just looking for, say, like a mini collection with their top 10 favorite series. So take a step back before you start buying every single volume you see in stores and decide what you want for your own collection. And remember that your collection is not for your friends, not to please the internet, but only for you. And this goal doesn't have to be really specific or actually tangible at all. It's really just there to help guide you. So here you can see an example of one of my goals when I first started collecting, and my goal has stayed the same. As you can see, it is quite vague, but it really helps me decide what series to get, what series to purge out, and just how to keep things running. So the reason why I think that this is such an important idea is because before I had set my own goal, I feel like I was collecting just for the sake of collecting and not really for the sake of my own enjoyment. I naively believed that a larger collection meant a better collection, and that is so far from the truth. There is no merit and no benefit in comparing collections. And so yeah, looking back, I wish I had set my goal earlier on instead of trying to collect as much manga as I possibly can. Now I have toned it down and am only collecting series that I truly love. Alright, so moving on to the second thing I wish I knew before I started collecting, and that is collecting manga is expensive. This is actually pretty straightforward and easy to see, especially if you're living outside of Asia when each volume tends to be, greater than $10. So one of the largest barriers behind actually starting to collect manga is truly the price behind it. So make sure that you're aware of this and also your priorities when you're deciding if you want to start collecting and if that is the best decision for you. I personally did not take this into account when I first started collecting, and so after around the first 2 months of collecting, I really had to go back and reevaluate my monthly expenses because dang, that took a hit out of my wallet when I first started. And so I decided to make some changes. I decided to start saving money by eating out less, finding a smaller apartment near my school, shortening my skincare routine even to save on products. And I also picked up a new part-time job to help support both my education and my hobby. So I promise this is not turning into a budgeting video or a story of my life video, but I just wanted to emphasize that manga is a hobby and not a necessity. You don't have to collect manga to read manga. There are many other great ways to read manga, such as purchasing online, borrowing from the library, even going to a friend's house, a friend that does have a manga collection. But yes, final conclusion, manga collecting is a truly expensive hobby. On to number 3. Number 3 is making sure you have enough space. This completely slipped my mind in the beginning that collecting manga involves taking up a lot of your personal space, both physically and mentally. I started off with just one small bookshelf in the corner of my room, and you can see the tiny bookshelf right here, and that didn't seem threatening at all. I completely did not even worry about space here. However, now I have had to move 2 desks out of the way and my bed way into the corner of my room so I could have 2 bookshelves for my manga. And now these bookshelves are slowly being filled up, and to be honest, I have no idea where I would put a 3rd bookshelf. So before you start to collect, make sure to evaluate how much space you have to put your manga and how much space you're willing to give up to put your manga there. And this may also tie into the first tip of setting goals. For example, if you share a room with your siblings, or perhaps you're in a dorm with school roommates, it may not be a good idea to collect every single series that you've ever read in your life. So yeah, just make sure that your goals and your space and your budget, everything aligns and you are good to go. My fourth tip is to start slow. With series that you want to read physically but are unsure if you want to collect it or even like the series, try out the 3-volume rule. You can buy and read the first 3 volumes to see if you like the series. If you like it, keep it and start collecting the next few volumes whenever you get the chance. However, if you are indifferent or even hate it, unhaul the series. And I'll mention more about unhauling in a few minutes. So don't feel as if you need to collect all the volumes of a series before you try it out, because that would be devastating, especially if you are doing that for One Piece or Hunter x Hunter or Haikyuu or any series that's basically longer than 5 volumes. My fifth tip is something that is pretty relevant, especially in my past couple videos where I goofed. The fifth tip is to keep a spreadsheet or tracker of your entire collection. So this becomes more of an essential tool when your collection is starting to grow larger, and so I've had to deal with the consequences of not properly tracking my purchases in my past 2 or 3 videos. I had accidentally bought duplicates of volumes from Grand Blue Dreaming and Toradora. So that kind of scared me, and now I am diligently updating my Google spreadsheet every time I get new volumes, which is what I should have been doing since the beginning. So here you can see how I format my spreadsheet on Google Sheets, but I think I will be changing it or even revamping it in the future because I don't think that this is the most efficient way. But whenever I do find the most efficient way, I will update you guys on that as well. And I believe other manga tubers have shown how they track their manga in dedicated videos, so look around and find the best method that suits you. From keeping track in a small written journal to a really professional Excel sheet, anything works as long as it helps you know what series you already have so you avoid confusion and buying duplicates. My sixth tip is to prioritize your series. So this one goes a bit hand in hand with a bunch of other tips from before, but I thought that this deserved its dedicated bullet point because I really suffered with this in the beginning. So a few people had actually called me out on this when I first started collecting in my videos, and I actually really appreciate them telling me their opinions and their experiences. So when I first started, I was collecting around 20 new series at a time. Honestly, no joke, if you go ahead and watch my earlier hauls, I had so many new series coming in. I was really overwhelmed and confused too, and this basically was a result of me not having a straightforward goal, thinking that a larger collection was a better collection. But now that I have goals in mind, I am able to make a list of series that I want to finish collecting in order of priority. This way, when there is a sale or when I'm going shopping and debating which series to get first, I don't end up buying from 10 different series and can focus on, say, my top 3 series at a time before moving on. So on to my 7th point. Do not be afraid to unhaul. If you've never heard of unhauling, it is the process of removing certain series from your collection, either through selling it, gifting it, donating it, or basically through any other means. It is completely okay to dislike things. It is your collection and not anyone else's. So everything in your shelf should be series that you truly love and wouldn't mind rereading every so often, because what else would the manga do sitting there on your shelf? So just as you haul series, don't hesitate to unhaul series as well. For example, I recently sold my set of The Gentleman's Alliance. I ended up buying the entire thing because I had read the series as a kid and I had loved it then. But when I actually received the series physically and decided to reread it, I realized that I didn't love it as much as before and I didn't find as much joy in rereading it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I ended up selling it to somebody who probably appreciated more than I would and ended up with more space and money to explore new series and continue collecting other series. The 8th thing that I wish I knew was where to buy manga. I'll be making a future video going into more detail about the cheapest and most reliable places to buy manga both online and in stores. For now, I'll keep it short and would just like to emphasize the importance of doing research if you're trying to search for the most cost-efficient way to collect. Buying online tends to be cheaper than in stores because it doesn't include costs such as covering the physical location of the store, organizing the physical shelves, employee wages, and etc. However, if you do like to read a bit of the series before you buy it, going to a physical store such as Barnes & Noble will help you take a look at the art and summary to help you decide if you truly want to buy it or not. And so don't hesitate to look around and see what other people in your area are doing as well. So for example, if you're in the United States, I highly suggest Rice Stuff Anime for online buying, and Amazon if you're looking to get your manga ASAP. But if you're looking for even more ASAPness, going to a local comic store where they often have hidden manga gems, that is also a really good idea. Or going to Barnes & Noble, Half Price Books, other used bookstores, and just kind of searching what is around you. Alright, we're slowly getting to the end of this video. But for our 9th tip, I highly recommend looking for box sets or complete sets of manga. Most series tend to be sold cheaper when they are sold as a bundle, in both new and old conditions. Some series such as Tokyo Ghoul, Ouran High School Host Club, A Silent Voice, Princess Jellyfish, and so many more are sold in box sets that are much cheaper than buying each volume separately. So make sure to do some research on a series before purchasing it to see if it comes in a set, especially since manga published in other languages often have sets that don't have sets in English. So yeah, make sure just to do a quick search. So for used manga, a lot of online sellers, eBay sellers will sell it cheaper altogether compared to each volume being separately sold, because this also saves the seller, work on distributing different volumes to different buyers and also the cost of shipping. So keep this in mind when purchasing both old and new manga to save your money. And kind of in the same vein, make sure to think carefully about especially long series, such as One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Haikyuu. These series are incredibly loved, but are also incredibly long. So if your goal is to own every single volume of this series, it's definitely going to take a long time and also a lot of money to complete. But if they are sold in box sets such as Bleach or One Piece, then this will definitely help save some money. So we are finally on to tip number 10, and I wish I knew how to maintain my manga before I started collecting. So it's important to put your manga in the best environment so they don't become wrinkly, yellow, and old, because of course it's really nice to keep them in pristine condition. So first of all, do not put your manga in direct sunlight. Make sure your collection is not right next to a window or just facing the sun in any type of way. And make sure that the room is cool and not too humid. For example, some basements, or if you grow a lot of plants, that might not be the best place to put your manga. And so some collectors put all of their manga in plastic sleeves to help their manga avoid contact with oxygen, because oxygen and UV rays and light together will make your manga become yellow. So make sure to watch out for this. Whenever I film for you guys, I open the curtains in my room to help with the lighting, but whenever I'm not filming, my curtains are completely closed and I let no light enter. And I also had to remove my humidifier from my room because humidity is not so great for volumes. Alright, so before I end the video, I do have a bonus thing. And that is to have fun and enjoy. There's absolutely no right or wrong in collecting, or even in not collecting. If you're finding that collecting manga stresses you out more than it gives you happiness, maybe reevaluate the reasons why you decided to start and if you want to continue collecting or not. This may involve reorganizing your financial priorities or realizing that your hobbies and interests have changed, and that is completely alright. And I've mentioned this many times throughout this video, but this is your collection, this is your pride, and this is your happiness. So make sure to do whatever feels right and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And now, before I end this video, I would like to thank Skillshare for the sponsor and for making this video possible. I can continue going on and on because Skillshare is truly a gem and such a wonderful resource. Skillshare is an online learning community for everybody, where students and professionals can all come together to take the next step in their creative journey. They offer so many inspiring classes, like a lot that I've shown you, for curious creative people on topics like design, animation, all the way to physical education and mental health. Recently, I've been kind of stressed out and really wanted to try taking a more relaxing course. I found The Ultimate Self-Care Playbook, Discover and Nurture Your Centered Self by Jonathan Van Ness. Honestly, he made this class so enjoyable. Even on an online platform, he was able to portray his joy and enthusiasm, so it made me so happy just listening to him talk. And I truly found more happiness in the smaller things and learned how to relax more after this course. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning that there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. So I highly recommend Skillshare. Even I'm still exploring all the new classes and I have so many I want to take. It's great for learning new skills and also developing new passions. So the first 1,000 people who use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial to Skillshare Premium. Definitely go ahead and check it out. And thanks again to Skillshare. And so yeah, that's it for this video. I actually have a bunch more tips and advice I wanted to share and, things I kind of wanted to go deeper into on the topics that I suggested here, but I was afraid it would make this video too overwhelming, long, and kind of cluttered. But if you guys are interested in a part 2 of this, let me know down below and I would love to continue letting you guys know opinions and experiences. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if you guys have any other suggestions or tips for anybody else out there. I know a lot of you guys have larger collections than me, have been collecting longer than me, so I would truly appreciate some advice as well. But yeah, that's it for now, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye!